to start, you're going to stamp your image onto watercolor paper using distress ink and antique linen. The paper I'm using for this particular card right here is Langton, and it's the hot press grain satin paper. I'm not sure exactly how they pronounce it, but what I like about this paper is that it's smooth versus the cold press where you have a little bit of a texture to it. This paper just seems to work a little bit better for me, but of course, there's no right or wrong. Some people would prefer cold press over the hot press paper, but I'm a bit of a heavy colorer, I should say. I hold my pens really tight. I'm the type that if you have a pencil somewhere, I'm most likely going to break the lead because I press too hard. So for me, using the smooth paper for whatever reason just works out a lot better for me. Now to create the actual arrangement of all the flowers on the card, I use some stamp masking paper. This paper is used for you stamp your image, you cover it over with a masking sheet so that you can kind of stamp over different images and you get a nice, I should say, blend, or it flows evenly to where you're not seeing like different breaks or it's covering up a leaf here or something like that. So I'm using masking sheets here so that I can just decide how I want my image to be laid out on the card. So I'm just gonna stamp some flowers here and some leaves there until I finally get the look that I want. I'm not gonna bore everyone with watching me stamp my cards, so I'm just gonna fast forward through all this and let's get to the final image. So now I'm just gonna remove all the masking sheets that I have laid down, and then you will see how it all comes out in the end, and actually ends up really, really nice. I never use masking sheets a lot, but I'm so glad that I use them now. They work beautifully. These are the watercolors that I chose to use from this set. To start, I'm starting out with Peacock Blue, and I'm taking my watercolor brush and I lay down quite a bit of the color up towards the inner part of the petal. And I'm just going to be pulling this color out by squeezing my water brush pen to get a little bit of water out of it, but not too much. And you're just going to be pulling that down towards the bottom half of your petal. You're basically going to be doing this for the entire card. You're just going to be picking the colors that you want. You're going to be laying down color. You can add a little bit more color by just dabbing just a little bit of the brush onto your paint. And I can say that this Mijello watercolors, the colors are so, I would say, deep or true to where you do not need much color. A little bit goes an extremely long way as far as painting with these things. That's what I really loved about it. The color is very smooth and almost, as people say, buttery creamy. I just absolutely love it. It's worth the investment to get these watercolors. And I also know a lot of people like the Danielle Smith. I haven't gotten any of those yet or had the ability to try those out, but that's definitely something I am looking at into getting in the future. I believe maybe there's a little bit more color choice, but I'm not sure. So I'm gonna speed things up a bit and I'm gonna play some music as you watch along as I color. Basically, you're going to be taking your color and wherever it is that you want shadows, you're going to be outlining those areas and then pulling that color down throughout the rest of the petals. You will also see where I added in some other little colors. I added in a little bit of the bright clear violet. For my other flower, there's a little bit of red violet. I've got a touch of red rose. This really gives your flowers a really nice, beautiful look as far as I'm concerned. I love, sort of blending different colors together and just watching it all come together. here I want to break in. This is where I'm going to be adding in a touch of that purple color to my flower. This kind of gives your flower a brighter look or a different look. I feel like it kind of brings it to life a little bit more. You can see how it really changes the overall look and tone of the flower. You don't need to add much of this color, and you can add it, you know, just in different places that you may feel you want to change the look of it, but I just think it really has a really nice effect. Once you get to painting, you can start going back and adding a little bit more color to certain places. I added a little bit more of the blue towards the underside of the flower here, and just in various places. Like I said, you want to allow your color to dry a little bit before you do this, because you're kind of doing everything in layers so that everything flows and you're not getting maybe big splotches in certain areas that you may not want it. This flower, I'm going to be using the purple and pink colors of my watercolor set, and I'm just going to be I'm switching things up a little bit. I'll add a little bit of the purple, I'll add a little bit of the pink, just to kind of mix the flower up in general. Like I said, you can either paint it a full solid color or you can mix it up. My preference is kind of mixing up some of the colors just to give it a different look. For my flower centers, I actually use a few pens from the Corinne brush marker system. I use the black because I'm just going to be sort of painting the centers brown and adding a little bit of speckles of black to make it look like little pollens. But you can color the centers however you choose, or you can even add glitter to your centers. You can add beads to the center to give it a more lifelike look, but the choice is yours. This basically sums up my card. Hopefully I didn't bore anyone too much. It's been a while since I've actually made a video. And here I'm going to be showing you the actual finished card, and I hope you enjoy it, and I will be leaving a complete supply list in the comments.